Hi everybody and welcome to Just Saying. It is March 17th, 2014. Happy St. Patrick's Day to everybody, especially my lovely, vivacious green co-host Mary. Hi Mary.
Hello. I may have an Italian last name, but trust me, I'm like 99.9% Irish.
Yes.
I think everybody's Irish on St. Patrick's Day.
I have on my green.
I can see that. I got my green plaid that's probably killing the camera and my special little shamrock that was given to me by a special friend. So I promised I'd wear it tonight, so here it is.
I have on green Hello Kitty.
Oh, I'll leave it to you. Next year I'll have to look around for a green cat shirt to be complete. So speaking of green, was the green flowing today?
Today was slow, but it was really weird weather. It was like super cold this morning and overcast and yucky and just nasty, and then it decided sometime after about 3 or 4 o'clock to warm up and go sunny. So it is what it is, but it was a good weekend, so that counts.
Well, we had a snowstorm this morning. I woke up, everything was white. We got a couple inches, and I felt giddy about it because normally it's like snowing, but it looked so pretty. It was the kind of snow where it didn't affect the streets or your driveway, and I got to see it till about 2 o'clock, and then it just kind of went away. But that was different for St. Patrick's Day. There's not too many snowstorms on St. Patrick's Day around here, but it made it nice.
Yeah.
So speaking of St. Patrick's Day, did you have your corned beef and cabbage?
No, actually, I had chicken fried steak.
Well, I cheated. I had ham and cabbage. My husband won't eat corned beef, and I love it. But anyway, I still had my cabbage portion of it, and we did pretty good.
If it counts, though, one of the guys that my one customer today was from Buffalo, New York.
Funny. So you have something coming up, I believe, in April?
Yes, the History Hunts and Legends in Jefferson, Texas.
Yay!
Can't wait.
It's a nice kickoff to a paranormal conference.
Yeah, and I get to play with Dakota and Martha, and you know how that goes.
Yes, I know how that goes. I have the Shanley coming up the end of the month, March 29th. So it's down to less than 2 weeks, so I'm looking forward to that one. We should have fun. So you know what? We got a little bit of a late start tonight, so why don't we jump in and bring our guest in?
Let's do
it. You want to do the intros, or you want me to do it?
You're on.
Okay. Well, tonight we have a very, very special guest. It was planned out for specifically tonight because today is St. Patrick's Day, and obviously we're all about celebrating St. Patrick's Day, and our guest just recently got back from Ireland. She's an author. She's a fantastic photographer. And I read her book, and she also writes great poetry, too. And she loves to take pictures of trees. And tonight we are welcoming Shirl Knobloch to the show. Hi, Shirl. Welcome.
Hello, Mary. Nice to be here.
Yeah. How cool is this? St. Patrick's Day. You're on our St. Patrick's Day special.
Yes. Wearing a little bit of green. Scarf is from Dublin.
Oh, I would have been disappointed if you didn't have something from Ireland on tonight. I'm actually sitting here thinking I took my colada ring out of my jewelry box, and as you can see, I forgot to put it on. It's sitting, so I can't get up and relocate to go get it, but I was there in spirit.
What's a colada ring?
Go ahead, Shirl, since you just got
It's
back.
the hands with the crown. It stands for love and loyalty, fidelity, and friendship. I wear one as a wedding ring a lot of the time, yes.
Oh, beautiful. I sometimes do the same thing. I have 3 different rings that I wear. It all depends on what mood that I'm in. I do wear my colada ring a lot, but it's starting to wear now because I've had it for like 30 years. And I just found out my FedEx man is getting married in May and going to Ireland. So I'm going to try and talk him into buying me a colada ring while he's over there.
Nice.
But yes, I love the whole concept behind the colada ring, and that's very beautiful that you wear it as a wedding ring. So I'm gonna dive right in, and I read your book cover to cover, and I do plan to put some things on Amazon about it. I wanted to wait until after the show because obviously we wanted to really talk about the book. But in the book, you mentioned that since you were about 8 years old, you could see things, you could feel things. As an 8-year-old child, how did you deal with that?
I kept it to myself. I didn't tell anyone. I didn't think, maybe I was afraid they wouldn't believe me, but I kept it to myself. And it was really not until after my mother passed away that I found out from her sisters that she knew the things that I could do. You know? And she could do things also, but she never talked to me about them.
That's what I was going to ask.
I wish I had talked to her, you know, when I had the time with her.
Right.
But, I kept things to myself.
Yeah. You know what? As a child, I tell everybody I saw things. And I remember in the beginning, I used to tell my mom, and she'd say, go back to bed, you're dreaming. And I later found out, years and years, I mean, almost to the point where before she passed away, that she had some abilities. But, you know, back in the day, you didn't talk too much about it, and you kept it to yourself.
I've talked to a lot of other people who do this line of work, and they've also told me they kept to themselves as children, didn't mention. So it's not uncommon.
You know, once in a while, Kim and I run into somebody that was lucky enough that they shared this, and I'm thinking, Robin, Kim,
right?
That, you know, there are people out there that did have the backing of family, that it wasn't because it went down generation to generation. But, you know, and it just took us a little bit longer to get out there and be able to do it freely. So I want to congratulate you on your book. This is called The Returning One, Medium's Memoirs. And I think it's like a beautiful collection of your thoughts, your feelings, and your experiences. And the way that you have put those things out there, I think a non-believer, that's what I call, there's us, and then there's the non-believers, and that's even in the paranormal. The way you put it out there in such a way, I don't want to say it was just easy reading, but you kind of really got into what you were feeling.
A lot of people write me and tell me that it's as if I was sitting at a table having tea or coffee with them, just talking to them.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And that's a compliment. I mean, that's what I try to do, is just talk to someone in the book. And it's an uncomfortable subject for a lot of people, but I try to make it a comfortable subject for them to read.
Agreed. You talk about your farmhouse in Gettysburg.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Kim and I have been to Gettysburg many times. I'm not sure exactly where yours is located. We're familiar with Evansburg Road, Baltimore Street, you know, all those. Are you a little bit further back?
Yeah, I keep my location personal. There's a lot of people going through Gettysburg, you know. And
understood.
Yeah.
Now, with you being as sensitive as you are, do you find it difficult sometimes to be able to stay in Gettysburg for long periods of time?
No, I've had just a couple of uncomfortable experiences there I've written in the book, but most times, no. The energy is good at my farmhouse. I feel comfortable there. Sometimes I'll go in places and I will pick up things, yes, if I'm in a haunted location, I can feel the pain there or the energy, but at my farmhouse, for the most part, it's very good energy. Any place can have a bad energy that just wanders in and passes through every now and then, but on the whole, my farmhouse is a peaceful place.
Well, I know you write in the book it's called the greenhouse, and you have more than just spirits there. You want to tell us a little bit about that?
Well, I also work as a Reiki master and an animal intuitive, and I always kid that the energy of animals comes looking for me. I wrote a first book, I don't know, Mary, if you know that one, but it's all about the work with animals. Mm-hmm. And sometimes things that I don't want to find me do, and little pets come in and pay me visits. And it's a farmhouse, you know, it has a lot of holes and cupboard holes, places for things to easily find, a little place to get in. So being in the country, you learn to expect things. It was hard in the beginning, I'm not, I mean, I wasn't a city girl, but I wasn't a country girl used to snakes and mice and little moles and, you know.
I hear you. I know I'm an animal intuitive myself, and I have a close friend of mine who cuts me up all the time because she talks about snakes and lizards, and I'm like, right, you know, if you're an animal person, you love all of God's creatures. I'm not saying I would go out and step on a snake, but I wouldn't voluntarily run over and pick it up. It's just one of those things.
In front of my floor at the farm, there was a snake skin just shed. Just left to me like, hello, when I came. So, I don't mind them. It's more the ticks and the stink bugs. You know, those they can keep their space away from me a little bit, but what are you going to do? That's what you get when you live in the country. You have to take the whole package.
I prefer the frogs.
I know you like frogs.
Frogs and ladybugs and hummingbirds.
Well, you hear a lot of them at night chirping and peeping here at Gettysburg.
The trade frogs.
Where we go, I wasn't able to hook up with you when you were doing your book signing, but at the Battlefield Bed and Breakfast, she has this huge pond. It almost looks like a lake. And if you're lucky enough to be able to go in the summertime, which most of the time I go, it's like off season, but I've been there a few times, you can hear them constantly, and it's kind of cool. And speaking of Gettysburg, because Gettysburg's one of my favorite subjects, and whenever Kim gets out here on the East Coast, I drag her to Gettysburg too.
Always in a major storm.
What?
Always in a major storm.
Oh, yes. Every time poor Kim comes out here, it's either a blizzard in October. The 2 years ago, she was out here for Hurricane Sandy. Mm-hmm. So she's hit all the good storms. The only thing
the first time I visited Gettysburg was a horrible storm. We were halfway there, and I debated on whether to come back. It was really black sky, gusty winds.
Yeah.
And when we got to Gettysburg, there was a rainbow in the sky. So.
Oh, how beautiful! That's beautiful. Well, speaking of storms, you mentioned in your book about Gettysburg being the perfect storm. Could you please explain?
Well, it's a combination of all the right things for a haunted town. The ground you walk on, I can walk on the ground in Gettysburg and see quartz crystals just lying on the ground, because quartz is a lot of the component in the soil there at Gettysburg. And a lot of people believe that quartz, just like you put a quartz crystal in your watch, quartz is a receptor for energy. It puts out energy, and it is quite a good thing to have in the atmosphere for spirits to come. Also, there's the trauma of death. All these young kids that, in a split second, their bodies were blown apart. They didn't know even that they died. There was the guilt of death if they killed someone before they died, and they were afraid once they passed if they were going to be punished for killing someone else. You know, these kids were killing cousins and family members, you know, on the opposite side. So you can imagine how guilty they must have felt. So you have all this, the sorrow, the grief, the torment of pain, like all the amputations. I mean, all this combined, you can imagine why it's just one of the most haunted places, and why these tormented souls just can't rest.
Yeah, and I agree. I mean, you know, you're talking about a situation that occurred over 3 days, the battle. So you have, it's like condensed. So it's much stronger energy, I think, than, you know, God forbid, somebody in a car accident and then 2 years later somebody else dies. This was concentrated.
So many numbers, yeah. I mean, just the number of fellas there, and the number of people that might still be buried unclaimed, you know. We'll never know. All of the body parts that are still there. Yeah.
Exactly. I agree.
And don't forget Jenny Wade.
Yeah. And, you know, they say that Jenny Wade was the first civilian that was killed.
Mm-hmm.
But I wonder how accurate that is. I know there was many more afterwards, because I had read where like children and farmers, they would go through their field and they were picking up, I guess, cannonballs and things that hadn't exploded yet, and things were exploding and they were killing. And not to mention, let's not overlook the fact that it was the beginning of July, and we know how July is in this area. So those bodies stayed. I mean, how can you dispose of that many bodies? Plus body parts that were cut off during surgery. So, you know, illness and sickness and disease and things like that. I know the water supply got messed up with all the blood. So how many people died after from contracting illnesses from this kind of thing?
Very true.
Well, and how many farmhouses through there were they fighting around, and there was like one little old lady or one little old man that was in the house and nobody knew about him till well after. Jenny Wade lucked out because there was someone in the house and they went immediately to her. I mean, she didn't luck out, but you know what I'm saying. But
yeah, it was definitely, there was a lot there. You talked about going to Sachs Bridge.
Yes.
I love Sachs Bridge.
I like it too. I don't feel, a lot of people feel very bad energy there, but I don't. I find it a peaceful place.
Yeah, I agree with you. You know, some people say, oh, you Sachs Bridge. And I've been there quite, I can't say that I've been there a lot. I've been there a few times. It took me forever to find it. Many times I've been to Gettysburg, I couldn't find it. And then when I found it, it's like every time I go there now, it's always a trip. The last time I was there was when I was in Gettysburg when you were doing the signing, and we stopped on the way home, and how beautiful it was in the snow.
I've had some nice things happen there, though. I called out before I left and said, "Can you give me just a hello if you're here?" And I've had a moving orb shoot across. I mean, if you take a lot of pictures like I do, you learn the difference between bugs at night and orbs. A lot of people say, oh, it's just a piece of dust or a bug. But if you take hundreds of pictures, you learn to recognize what a bug will look like flying at night. I mean, it's dark out there. If you know a Sachs Bridge at night, if you don't have a light source, it's pitch black.
Absolutely.
For me, it's infrared, and I've caught in a lot of orbs. On Halloween night we went one night, and it looked like a party. The whole bridge was just filled with orbs. I have a picture on the Facebook page. You should see that one. I'll post it for you.
Yeah, I'll have to check it out. We were there, I was there in July with Robin Marie, and she felt like something was behind her. And she took a picture, and right behind her head, it was almost the size of a basketball, this golden object. And it was so cool to see. I tried to get it, you know, I couldn't duplicate it. So it was just interesting to see. But Sachs Bridge is a very beautiful place.
Yeah, people get a lot of mists out there in photographs they send me. You do pick up nice things out there. But like I say, I don't feel afraid. I don't. Some people have said they've seen glowing eyes and felt a demonic presence.
I've never felt that there.
No.
And I agree. When I go there, I almost hate to leave the place because it's relaxed. There's certain areas of the battlefield that I'm uncomfortable, but Sachs Bridge I really like. Kim, you look like you're dying to ask a question over there.
Yeah, I'm supposed to ask about Sparky.
I didn't hear.
I'm supposed to ask about Sparky.
Oh, that's just a name certain friends have given to me. Yes, and I've had instances where appliances will react to me. I've had things in toasters or heaters explode, especially if I'm in an agitated mood. Light bulbs will pop endlessly. So it's just the energy it's affects.
So we got to keep you happy tonight so your computer continues to work.
Yeah, a lot of computer glitches too, yeah.
I think there are a lot of people out there like that. We had one of our guests that we had on a couple weeks ago. His name is Mike Buckley. We met him at the Lower Catskills Paracon, and he also attended a couple of my functions at the Shanley Hotel. And one particular night, I was on my webcamming with somebody out in California. We had her here as part of our event via the webcam. And every time he walked by, I lost Skype, I lost internet, the cameras flickered. He only came to our show one time prior to being a guest, and it was the only time we had technical difficulties where we had to stop the show. So I politely said to him, and Kim remembers this, I think we were interviewing Lorraine Irby from Fort Mifflin. I asked him nicely, Mike, I really like you, but please don't come to any more of our shows.
There are spots out in Gettysburg that affect my camera. Every time I go, batteries drain. There's a lot of places like that. Yeah.
Jeez, it does get a little crazy.
Well,
Devil's Den is one of the worst, I think. Every time we go to Devil's Den, batteries die. Could be new batteries.
You should mention, Mary, that while he was the guest on our show, you went out.
Yes, that's true. I forgot about it. Shirl, we were on a roll interviewing, and all of a sudden, whoop, I blipped out of radar. And it took a little bit before I was able to even come back on. And I said to him, we're not bringing you back on anymore. It's just how it is, people's energy. Same way with
I've met
batteries.
some people who can't even wear watches. Their energy makes the dial spin. Yeah.
So I'm going to push forward a little bit because we brought you on here to talk a little bit about your trip to Ireland. You kind of beat Kim and I there because she has areas over there she wants to go to, and I do too. So recently, you just came back from Ireland, and you went to some interesting places.
One of which Deb. I told Deb I'd say hello to her. Yes.
Yeah, she's out there. She's out there listening. One of the places you went to was Lake Castle.
That's another place that I read. Well, I worried about going there to Lepp because I thought that the energy there would have a bad influence on me because everything I've ever read or seen about Lepp has said it's the most horribly haunted place in the world. The elemental dwells there. The energy of the oubliette, the torture chamber, and all the souls. When I got to Lepp, it was the most beautiful, peaceful experience of the trip. Now, I know there is still dark energy in that castle, but it's been balanced by a wonderful family who lives there. It's a family that makes music and dance and songs, and I think that it balanced out that negativity in such a way that it's become quite a nice atmosphere. At least to me, I didn't feel that evil that people feel there. I think that they've done a fantastic job of bringing light to that place. The Ryan family, he has CDs, he plays the Irish whistle. His daughter is a noted Irish dancer. And I think the spirits actually, they respect them. They respect the spirits. He welcomes them, he sees them, he talks to them. He doesn't have the attitude that they have to get out of here and have to force them to the light. He accepts them, that this is their home, and I think they're happy there. And I think that's why they're not bothered by that terrible darkness that others have been at that place.
Why be? But a lot of things that you hear about and you see about. I mean, the first time I've ever even heard of the place was on Ghost Hunters. Mm-hmm. And they went over into Leap Castle, and that's where we all got introduced to Barry Fitzgerald from Ghost Hunters International.
Yep.
And, he was on the show that night, and, of course, he talks about the elementals, and in the show, it appeared that there was an elemental that had gone after a few of them. And so, it makes you wonder whether or not it prejudices your mind a little bit that when you go there, you're going to automatically be chased out by an elemental.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I don't know. Personally, I don't watch many ghost hunting shows, so I can't speak about the good and the bad.
Right.
In my opinion, I think a lot is I don't know the word. You don't have a good show unless you promote the dark, evil
I
energy
understand.
every place.
I understand.
All I can say is when I went to LEP, I felt a beautiful energy around that place. And I think partly it was because of my friend surrounding me. That might have had a big part to play in it. If you read my book,
Right.
you'll know the story. So I think she was a protective shield. But I felt very, very peaceful there.
We are going to talk about that in a moment, but I think Kim had something she wanted to put out there.
With the elementals and Barry, it wasn't something that they tried to put out there, but they picked up a heat signature out past the castle on the FLIR, and actually it broke into 3, and you could see it on the FLIR as it was moving on the FLIR camera. And
I have no doubt that there is darkness there from all the tortured souls that were left to die. So no doubt there is dark energy there. But I think the light will always overpower the darkness, in my belief. I think those people have brought a lot of light into that place. And I think that's kept the darkness at bay, in my opinion. Just the way I feel.
Well, you know, the history itself in the castle, I mean, there were so many murders.
Yeah, people were just thrown in that hole. I mean, we looked down into that little torture chamber, and yes, and that has to have some imprint on the walls. Yes, sure.
Yeah, I mean, over the years, I mean, they said once you got tossed down there, you never came back out.
Never did, no.
And I think it was somewhere in the...
In fact, when they went down there, they carried out, like, wagon loads of bones.
Yeah. They said they had workmen down there, and they took out like 3 carts of bones. So again, just like we were discussing about Gettysburg, you know, bodies that were never found, that were just, you know, and these are unsettled spirits that were never really put to rest properly.
Now the owner says he sees the spirits of 2 sisters. Sometimes they'll come in the room. And they're not malevolent in any way. They're very, very nice to the family, and they accept them. They let them in, you know, when they come in the room, they acknowledge them.
Mm-hmm. You know. Yeah, but let's face it. If you've got a mass going on, and one brother kills another brother, and then kills the priest during the mass in the bloody chapel, I mean, you know. But the you know, from what I was reading, it said that, you know, things kind of started picking up when, I believe her name was Mildred Darby. Mm-hmm. She kind of practiced little black magic here and there, and they think that that's what may have brought forth this elemental spirit of all the things that occurred.
No, there's different beliefs. If you invite things in, sure. If you delve into certain practices and invite, it's like opening the door to something, sure, you can invite things in. And the elemental is created from all the negativity energy. It's part of the earth energy of all the sadness and all the death. So it's just a natural energy of the earth where darkness events appear. You know, it's there. I guess if you stay there overnight and you call upon it, it might come visit you if you ask it to. You know, I don't do that. I didn't ask any dark energy when I was there to visit upon me. So I don't know. I didn't seem to acknowledge anybody else in the tour that had any bad experience there. Not to my knowledge, but
I know when Debbie came back, she didn't say anything that was negative. She had a blast.
Yeah, so. I mean, it was we had a concert there from him playing Irish music. It was a very, very nice. We had a private tour of the place. We were there with Richard Felix. I don't know if you know of him. He's a British historian, paranormal historian. I didn't see anyone at unease in the castle. Okay. Maybe if you're there at 3 in the morning in the dark, maybe if you're trying to taunt someone, maybe then you'll invite it, it'll come. But other than that, no.
Did you run across any of the fairy holes or fairy trails?
We went, we passed, but the tour was very fast-paced, so we didn't have a lot of time to stop. We passed some. We passed by the wishing trees, which were nice to see. It's very nice to see how the people respect and revere those places and hang all the items on the wishing trees. They will divert roads so that they don't cut them down. You know, they very strongly believe in adhering to the respect of those places. And the fear that if they do disturb certain places, the consequences of it. So that's it. It's the keeping, if you want the nice energy to remain, respect it and treat it with the reverence it deserves.
Right. From what I've heard, that if you build on disturb the fairy houses,
right. That's why I say
they're not nice.
And that brings me to the story that you wrote about the stone.
Yeah.
Okay. And I don't want to give too much away because you want people to buy your book. If we tell everything that's in there, but I think that story is warranted to be told. And we were walking up to Lep, and as in Ireland, it's just stones everywhere. Thousands, millions. I mean, stone walls, corn, stones on the path. And we were walking up to Lep, and my husband was ahead of me. And I just was looking down and saw this little stone, and it had a face. A sweet face. Eyes, nose, ears, mouth. And I picked it up, and I held it. And I can't explain how people say when they cross into a tunnel of light, how that feeling of love just envelops them. Well, that's the feeling I got from this stone. And I couldn't believe the happiness in it. And going through my mind in that moment was, should I put it in my pocket? Should I take it? And I always believe that we don't disturb the things out there. So I said, no, I'll put it down. I put it back down. I carefully remembered where I put it because I wanted to show my husband this, to say, look, it's here. So I ran up ahead, got him to come back, found the stone, and he saw it too. He saw the face. We took pictures, and I said, what do you think? Should I take it? And he says, you have to make that decision. He says, if you don't take it, he says, once we leave and get on that bus, there's no coming back. You know, and if you do take it, that you can't return it. So make up your mind now, make a step. I thought, it was here, it belongs here, I left it there. But part of me will always be with it there, and I think part of it is always with me here, because I believe my friend had died the night before in America, and I didn't know it. One of my closest friends, before she died, she had told her daughter, I wish I could have gone to Ireland. She was too ill. I wish I could have gone with Shirl to Ireland. So I think it was her visiting me in that stone. Whether it was fairy magic, whether it was what you believe, the spirit visitors from the other side, whatever you choose to believe, all I can say is the feeling in that stone was something I've never felt before. Just complete bliss. And I think she was telling me she was happy, she was on her way, and I let the stone stay where it was. Why bring it home and leave that beautiful place? Exactly. I mean, you were meant to see it. And think about this. You held the stone in your hand, and what did you do with that stone? You left some of your energy on it.
Yeah.
So, I'm not sure how to put this without tearing a little bit.
Like I said, part of me is in that stone, and part of it is here with me.
But also, if you thought she came and that stone may have been a part of her, your energies exchanged for that moment.
I really
so that's beautiful. Yeah. That was very, very nice.
And that was
and I enjoyed reading it.
That was Friday morning, and she had died Thursday nighttime. And I didn't know about her death till I came home. When I came home from Ireland, it was one of the first things I learned. And at the time of it, and I said that was her. Yeah.
Yeah, it obviously seems like that. I don't know. I think you held really good restraint putting it back, but I think you did the right thing. Because you know what? I think if you would have taken it home, it would have bothered you, and you would have said to your husband, "We got to go back to Ireland. I'm going to put that stone back."
No, I said it's here. It's so beautiful out there. Left Castle is surrounded by fairy courts and mounds. It's in a beautiful spot. And that stone was in such a beautiful place. I said, how could I do justice bringing it home and putting it on my drawer in a drawer? I said, no. It just wasn't the right thing to do.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So anyway, you go from Leap Castle over to, I think it was called Slingo Abbey.
Slingo Abbey, yes. Yeah. That's an extraordinary place. You can walk, instead of seeing rocks on the ground, you can see human bones on the ground. I mean, I'm talking leg bones, big bones that are just lying on the ground. People picking them up. Now, no doubt a lot of people bring those little pieces of bones home, which I don't know what kind of energy follows them with them when they do that, but there are bones lying there.
What's the whole purpose of having these bones all over the place and not being buried?
I don't know. I really don't know why someone doesn't come and collect them and put them respectfully away, but they're just left there. They're just, there's a lot of... Do you think
maybe there was like a cemetery or something and they had like a flood?
There is a cemetery, yes. That's where a lot of victims of plagues, illness were buried. It is a cemetery there in the old stones, yes. But the bones are lying on top of the stones in the ground, right on the ground. It's, I've never seen anything quite like that.
I hope there like there's paths that you can walk, so you're not walking on these bones. I have the visualization of these bones.
No, it's not littered so intensely, but they're there. If you look, you can't help but see them.
But you also had an experience there that you found something.
That was from the spirit animal world.
Yes.
Again, animal energy visited me, and I did not take it home. I respectfully buried that one. I made a little cairn for it. Yes, that I did. I did not leave the bone lying out in the open. We put it in a nice little passageway niche with a little cairn tower and said a little, rest in peace.
Oh, how cool. You went to quite a few other places, and there's one or two I'm going to leave out, okay, because like I said, you want people to buy your book and read about this. But there's a subject that I'd like to discuss with you that Kim and I are strongly about too, and it's a situation that you ran across when you were in, Galley Castle?
Galley, yes.
Yeah. And I think it kind of disappointed you in a way because there was some disrespect going on there with the spirits.
Well, I feel energy in a room. And there was to be a seance held that evening in a room, and we were early, waiting for it to begin. And when I walked in, I always look around, feel the room, and feel where I feel the energy presence the strongest. And that's where I went. So I leaned against the wall, just waiting for the guests that were going to hold the seance to come in. And all of a sudden there was a jolt against my back, boom. A cupboard in the wall opens, and someone had been hiding there to come out during the seance and scare people. Now, thankfully, I had a bruise on my back, but I was okay, but I don't like things like that. I do seances sometimes. I've held them in Gettysburg, and I believe that you do it with respect. You don't do parlor tricks. You don't do things like that. And I really feel there was a chance to have a nice seance there and communicate with a very tortured soul that still remains at that castle.
Agreed. You know, it's a pet peeve for Kim and I too. Going on investigations and having things like that happen, especially like provoking and just being totally disrespectful.
Yeah, I just happened. I felt the energy. It wasn't spirit energy, but it was actual human energy hiding in that cupboard, and I felt that bam against my back. He missed his cue, came out too soon. He was supposed to come out later on when the seance was going on. So he ruined the whole evening. The seance wasn't held. The guest of honor wasn't feeling well, didn't attend, so they didn't hold the seance at all. It's just, that ruined it for me. I left. I didn't stay to find out if they'd hold the seance or not. We just left after that and went back to our room, went exploring on our own. Because I had thought it would be a respectful evening. You know, when you have a seance, I always tell people, nothing may happen. You know, a lot of times things happen, but, you know, maybe nothing will happen. And that's just the way, I don't make fake things happen or won't delude people. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes,
absolutely.
That's what I believe. You don't put on a show. You don't do things.
Well, you know, not only that, you know, as far as I'm concerned, if you have a tour guide that's taking you on tour somewhere and they're planting these little things, and that was planting somebody in a closet to come out and, you know, make noise or whatever it is, you know, as far as I'm concerned, that tour guide lost his credibility, and he may be the best tour guide. And doing something foolish like that, that would have turned me off too. I probably, if I was close to home, I would have got in the car and drove home. Unfortunately, you can't fly a plane across the Atlantic Ocean and come back home.
I mean, the fact that I could have gotten hurt too, you know, with that door coming out right against my back at the force that guy came out.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I guess our big question to you is, are you planning on going back?
We'll go back. Ireland's beautiful. Once you visit, you always long to go back. It's no comparison. And I don't know if it's because the oldness of the place, the reverence for the spirits, but there seems to be less of a division in the veil between realms when you're over there. You know, it's easier to feel the presence. And even if you're a non-believer, I think when you come home, you're less of a non-believer. You can't help it when you experience these things.
Mm-hmm. Well, I already told Debbie if there's another trip going back to Ireland, let me know, because I would definitely love to go. It sounded like fun. Another thing is, I also noticed, and I believe you wrote it in your book, because that's where I would have gotten this, is the fact that you like to take pictures of trees.
Yes. I believe that energy lives in trees.
Mm-hmm.
Everywhere I go, I look. I've taken pictures of spirits in Gettysburg, spirits in cemeteries. I believe in that, the tree spirits, the energy in living things. And I believe you can find a lot of things in trees. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I was checking out some of your pictures that you have, and you can tell that you put a lot of yourself into when you're taking them. Like, it's not, oh, there's a tree, let me take a tree. Oh, let me take a picture of that. And it shows in your photography. Tell me, what did you sit in the leprechaun chair? Did you touch it, or you just kind of looked at it?
I didn't sit in it, no. No.
I would have had to have done that and not worry about the consequences.
I would have.
I know you would have. You probably would have tried to pick it up and take it.
No, I wouldn't take it home. It's not mine. Did you kiss the Blarney Stone?
That I did not do. No. I went up there, but I didn't.
Why? I thought that was like tradition. That was.
It is. Well, there's mixed comments about the origin of the Blarney Stone and how it might not be the legend that we all believe, but no, I did not kiss the Blarney Stone.
Hey, I heard rumors about that Blarney Stone. You know how many people kissed that stone?
It was one of the most profitable marketing achievements, I think, in history with Blarney Stone.
Debbie's in the chat room saying she kissed it. See, that's
See?
I'm thinking of all the people kissing it with the germs. I'm a germaphobe.
You put on chapstick. It gets nowhere near your lips.
No, I'd have a mask on, and then attempt to kiss it.
And you're Irish.
There's a stone in Sligo Abbey that I touched. It's a stone where you touch your fingers to and make a wish in Sligo Abbey. That I do.
Well, then don't come to Texas. We got a building made out of salt that everybody licks.
Well, I won't even touch that one. I won't even go there with that salt lick. Anyway, I'm looking at the time now, and our time has kind of blown by. But I really enjoyed reading your book. It makes me now want to go to Ireland even more so. And you don't have to.
Pack up enough for summer, winter, fall in one day. Believe me, because you could be freezing, you could be warm. The winds are incredible from blowing into the sea. So just
is it as green as they say?
Yes.
How cool is that? Mm-hmm. Well, you didn't have to sell me on Gettysburg because I'm already sold on that. Okay, but now
it reminds me. In a way, Ireland reminds me of Gettysburg. The rolling green hills, the horses in the pastures. It wasn't that unfamiliar to me. It has a lot of similarities. So that beautiful countryside in Gettysburg, the rolling green hills, you'll find that similarity in Ireland.
Awesome. Well, if anybody wants to get a hold of you, how do they do so?
They can find me on Facebook, just under Shirl Knobloch. They can. If they purchase the book, on the back side of the book, there's the website to reach me. I have my photo gallery at Shirl Knobloch at Sempolio. Willow is the name of the business, Willow Fine Art Prints. I have prints of not only Ireland, of Gettysburg, but of all the haunted places I visited, cemeteries I visited. The easiest way would be on Facebook, or my work website is Briar Rose Reiki. My work is a Reiki master, my work with animals. So www.briarrosereiki.com. They can get me that way. I'm easy to find.
We'll find you. And if we can't find you, we'll just find Debbie and tell her to get a hold of you to get a hold of us. So we're all good. We got it covered. Shirl, thank you so much for joining us. Happy St. Patrick's Day to you.
Thank you.
And hopefully maybe I'll run into you out in Ireland sometime.
It'd be nice. Tell Debbie cheers of another trip I'm in.
Awesome. All right. Thank you so much. Have a good evening.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Now I want to go.
Where are you going?
I want to go to Ireland.
I want to go to
Scotland. I wanted to go.
I want to go to Scotland.
I know you do. I want to go to Scotland too, but I want to go to Ireland first, and then we'll hit Scotland.
Okay.
And then we go back to Ireland again.
And then, if we got time, we'll go back to Scotland again?
Well, whatever. But I'm not kissing the Blarney Stone. I'm just putting it out there. And if I come to Texas, I'm not licking that salt lick.
I won't lick that wall. That's nasty.
Not unless you got like some tequila or something. Or margarita. What do you need the salt?
Yeah, tequila and half a lime. Then you lick the wall.
Too fun. Oh, I forgot to show off my green mug tonight. I got a green mug. Green. Anyway, we have a really cool show planned next week. We have our favorite UFO person coming on.
One of our favorites, Preston Bennett.
I love Preston.
See?
He is so cool.
I said his name right, too.
Yes, you did. You did. And so next week, you want to come back and join us because the one and only Preston Bennett will be joining us. And I'm not exactly sure which book we're going to talk about. I've got every one of them. I think we finally need to get to that underwater activity that he's been so dying to talk about. So maybe that'll be our subject for next week.
And Friday on
what do you have going on Friday?
Friday on Pima TV, we have Jeremy Jones from Paranologies, who you met.
I did. He's the gadget guy, right?
Yep. Well, he's with the periscopes and all that.
Yes, yep. He's very, very good. You want to bring up your Paracon again?
I would like to mention one. PEN2 is back up. The streaming finally got all its maintenance or whatever they were doing out of their system, so we're back up on full steam again. Two, tomorrow is PEN's 4th anniversary.
Wow.
We've made it 4 years.
Wow.
Wednesday is Pima TV's 5th anniversary.
Cool. Very good. And Thursday is somebody's birthday.
No, Wednesday is somebody's birthday. Mary's daughter, the nurse.
Oh, yes. Alicia's birthday is Wednesday, but somebody's birthday is Thursday, Kim.
It's spring solstice. Happy spring to everybody.
Birthday.
Happy birthday, springtime.
Yes.
Happy birthday, Kim, on Thursday.
Shut up.
Yeah, we should all come on and have a big party. Anyway, I think that's about it. Oh, March 29th, the Shanley Hotel. There's 2 rooms left. So don't be the one looking in while we're on there having a good time. www.shanleyhotel.com. Click on the events. Scroll down to Mary and Mark and reserve your spot.
Although, if you are stuck outside peeking in the windows, Mary's husband Rick may recruit you for his zombie apocalypse.
Yes, he wants to do a zombie run in there, so he just might do that. And with that, Kim,
we are getting the heck out of here.
That's right. Thank you all for joining us.
And happy Valentine's Day, everyone.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Yeah, Valentine's Day. St. Patrick's Day. I'm sitting here.
St. Patrick's Day. I think you got to the green beer. Good night, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Night.
Take pictures of trees, and tonight we are welcoming Shirl Knobloch to the show. Hi, Shirl. Welcome.
Hello, Mary. Nice to be here.
Yeah. How cool is this? St. Patrick's Day. You're on our St. Patrick's Day special.
Yes, wearing a little bit of green. Scarf is from Dublin.
Oh, I would have been disappointed if you didn't have something from Ireland on tonight. I'm actually sitting here thinking I took my colada ring out of my jewelry box, and as you can see, I forgot to put it on. It's sitting, so I can't get up and relocate to go get it, but I was there in spirit.
What's a colada ring?
Go ahead, Shirl, since you just got
It's the
back.
hands with the crown. It stands for love and loyalty, fidelity, and friendship. I wear one as a wedding ring a lot of the time, yes.
Oh, beautiful. I sometimes do the same thing. I have 3 different rings that I wear. It all depends on what mood that I'm in. I do wear my colada ring a lot, but it's starting to wear now because I've had it for like 30 years. And I just found out my FedEx man is getting married in May and going to Ireland. So I'm going to try and talk him into buying me a colada ring while he's over there.
Nice.
But yes, I love the whole concept behind the colada ring, and that's very beautiful that you wear it as a wedding ring. So I'm gonna dive right in, and I read your book cover to cover, and I do plan to put some things on Amazon about it. I wanted to wait until after the show because obviously we wanted to really talk about the book. But in the book, you mentioned that since you were about 8 years old, you could see things, you could feel things. As an 8-year-old child, how did you deal with that?
I kept it to myself. I didn't tell anyone. I didn't think, maybe I was afraid they wouldn't believe me, but I kept it to myself. And it was really not until after my mother passed away that I found out from her sisters that she knew the things that I could do. Yeah? And she could do things also, but she never talked to me about them.
That's what I was going to ask.
I wish I had talked to her, when I had the time with her.
Right.
But, I kept things to myself.
Yeah. You know what? As a child, I tell everybody I saw things. And I remember in the beginning, I used to tell my Mom, and she'd say, go back to bed, you're dreaming. And I later found out, years and years, almost to the point where before she passed away, that she had some abilities. But, back in the day, you didn't talk too much about it, and you kept it to yourself.
I've talked to a lot of other people who do this line of work, and they've also told me they kept to themselves as children, didn't mention. So it's not uncommon.
Yeah, once in a while, Kim and I run into somebody that was lucky enough that they shared this, and I'm thinking, Robin, Kim,
Right.
that, there are people out there that did have the backing of family, that it was open because it went down generation to generation. But, and it just took us a little bit longer to get out there and be able to do it freely. So I want to congratulate you on your book. This is called The Returning One, Medium's Memoirs. And I think it's like a beautiful collection of your thoughts, your feelings, and your experiences, and the way that you have.
Hi everybody, and welcome to Just Saying. It is March 17th, 2014. Happy St. Patrick's Day to everybody, especially my lovely, vivacious green co-host, Mary. Hi, Mary.
Hello. I may have an Italian last name, but trust me, I'm like 99.9% Irish.
Yes.
I think everybody's Irish on St. Patrick's Day.
I have on my green.
I can see that. I got my green plaid that's probably killing the camera, and my special little shamrock that was given to me by a special friend. So I promised I'd wear it tonight, so here it is.
I have on green Hello Kitty.
Oh, I'll leave it to you. Next year I'll have to look around for a green cat shirt to be complete. So speaking of green, was the green flowing today?
Today was slow, but it was really weird weather. It was like super cold this morning and overcast and yucky and just nasty, and then it decided sometime after about 3 or 4 o'clock to warm up and go sunny. So it is what it is, but it was a good weekend, so that counts.
Well, we had a snowstorm this morning. I woke up, everything was white. We got a couple inches, and I felt giddy about it because normally it's like it's snowing, but it looked so pretty. It was the kind of snow where it didn't affect the streets or your driveway. And I put those things out there. I think a non-believer, that's what I call, there's us and then there's the non-believers, and that's even in the paranormal. The way you put it out there in such a way, I don't want to say it was just easy reading, but you kind of really got into what you were feeling.
A lot of people write me and tell me that it's as if I was sitting at a table having tea or coffee with them, just talking to them.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And that's a compliment. I mean, that's what I try to do, is just talk to someone in the book. And it's an uncomfortable subject for a lot of people, but I try to make it a comfortable subject for them to read.
Agreed. You talk about your farmhouse in Gettysburg.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Kim and I have been to Gettysburg many times. I'm not sure exactly where yours is located. We're familiar with Evansburg Road, Baltimore Street, all those. Are you a little bit further back?
Yeah, I keep my location personal. There's a lot of people going through Gettysburg, and...
Understood.
Yeah.
Now, with you being as sensitive as you are, do you find it difficult sometimes to be able to stay in Gettysburg for long periods of time?
No, I've had just a couple of uncomfortable experiences there I've written in the book, but most times, no. The energy is good at my farmhouse. I feel comfortable there. Sometimes I'll go in places and I will pick up things, yes, if I'm in a haunted location. I can feel the pain there or the energy, but at my farmhouse, for the most part, it's very good energy. Any place can have...
I got to see it till about 2 o'clock, and then it just kind of went away. But that was different for St. Patrick's Day.
Right.
There's not too many snowstorms on St. Patrick's Day around here, but it made it nice.
Yeah.
So speaking of St. Patrick's Day, did you have your corned beef and cabbage?
No, actually, I had chicken fried steak.
Well, I cheated. I had ham and cabbage. My husband won't eat corned beef, and I love it. But anyway, I still had my cabbage portion of it. We did pretty good.
If it counts, though, one of the guys that my one customer today was from Buffalo, New York.
Funny. So you have something coming up, I believe, in April?
Yes, the History Hunts and Legends in Jefferson, Texas.
Yay!
Can't
It's
wait.
a nice kickoff to a paranormal conference.
Yeah, and I get to play with Dakota and Martha, and you know how that goes.
Yes, I know how that goes. I have the Shanley coming up the end of the month, March 29th. So it's down to less than 2 weeks. So I'm looking forward to that one. We should have fun. So you know what? We got a little bit of a late start tonight. So why don't we jump in and bring our guest in?
Let's do.
Let's do it. You want to do the intros, or you want me to do it?
You're on.
Okay. Well, tonight we have a very, very special guest. It was planned out for specifically tonight because today is St. Patrick's Day, and obviously we're all about celebrating St. Patrick's Day, and our guest just recently got back from Ireland. She's an author. She's a fantastic photographer, and I read her book, and she also writes great poetry, too, and she loves